Well, I wonder if this is going to be the future of this type of Brexit reporting, because I haven't seen so far, shall we say, so far this actually being reported outside to any national newspapers. Indeed, this comes from the Star, and this is Sheffield, one of Sheffield's local newspapers. So I have to really wonder if in future that, shall we say, the reports on Brexit, and especially on a very local level, because this is really, I think, is what's going to change a lot of people's minds, is what is happening at a local level. What has Brexit actually done? And like I said many, many times, when you break down a lot of these arguments to leave, a lot of people were really, really arguing to try and have a better life. This is what they felt that the Brexiteers were promising them, that if they voted to leave somehow, that this would improve their lifestyle, that leaving the EU would somehow improve them and make things better for them, when, again, it's not. We are set to see austerity on steroids. So, before we break into this, quite frankly, amazing piece of local journalism, please do remember to hit that like and share button. And of course, down below, there's a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link. And thank you very much to the people who do support me that way. So, on then to the Star. And of course, the title of the article is South Yorkshire and Derbyshire bosses brand Brexit deal a total disaster, set to cost jobs and close companies. And I wonder, I hope this is the case. I really do hope this is the case. I hope that this is just the first, and I mean the first of a series of barrages from companies, both small, medium, and big, throughout the country, that just go on to say this deal is disastrous, this is going to cost jobs, and it's going to close companies. And I hope this gets repeated up and down the country, because then the Brexiteers will go deathly silent. Deathly silent. So, some have already lost customers after the UK left the EU, bringing new inspections, delays, and a swathe of new declarations, tariffs, fees, and VAT payments. Chris Cox, the managing director of Bollard Cox Engineering on Chesterfield Trading Estate, Old Warrington, Chesterfield. They always do that in local newspapers. They say exactly where everything is. Said, "It's a total disaster and the most ill-prepared situation I've ever come across. I've only had 4 years to prepare for it, and it's a total embarrassment. It will cause job losses and have a detrimental effect on our ability to export." Buxton Specialist Alloys in Rotherham is a stockholder of stainless steel duplex, super duplex, and nickel alloys. Oh, hang on, there we go. Oh, so many adverts, so many adverts. Director Nick Buxton said that they too had lost 3 customers so far. He added, "This is causing us massive issues with material stuck at customs that is delayed due to them not understanding the new paperwork. We've lost 3 customers since we came back after the new year because the material was delayed by 10 days in customs. The country is in shambles, yet there's been no thought to the impact it has had on us. Maybe it will only be in the short term. But what is the short term? Brexit took 4 years." Adam Brayley, director of the corrosion-resistant materials of Swinton Mexborough and said businesses were having to shoulder the problems alone, and that they needed the government before companies started to go to the wire. He added, "I don't think enough has been done to educate EU companies who import into the UK. Times are already tough, costing almost a year of COVID. This could be the tipping point. Too much red tape and too many differing options for what is best is causing many issues. It all seems to be falling on the shoulders of businesses to sort the paperwork and pay the additional transport and customs duties, as well as VAT and duty, which is being charged in many circumstances." I don't know if this guy was a Brexiteer, but This was what was going to fall on the shoulders of businesses anyway. The government isn't going to suddenly come in and start paying transport costs or waive VAT or do your paperwork. I'm sorry, but this is what we said would happen to a lot of businesses, and it's shocking as it may be. A lot of businesses still did not really understand the absolute complications and amount of red tape that they were about to be put upon them. And then again, this is not the EU doing this to them. This is the government who is now following these new standards that they have to trade into to be able to trade with the EU. At one point, these barriers just did not exist because we were in the EU single market and customs union and members of the EU. So this just did not apply to us. He asks, where is the government support? You're not going to get any. I'm sorry. What was it? What was your name again? Yeah, Adam Brayley. So I'm sorry, Adam, but you ain't going to get any support from this government because as far as they are concerned, this is the market. This is the market should be let free to run wild as it does and wills. This is what happens when, free market fundamentalists are in charge. But there you go. And we've been warning. We have been constantly warning about this. And one of the things we've talked about before, years through the years, is we always hoped businesses would actually come out and speak out against Brexit. Some did, some didn't. But it wasn't a really big voice. It didn't manage to break through. And unfortunately now, a lot of businesses are realising maybe we should have got into the fray in this. So, the trio commented on a story on David Walsh's LinkedIn page about traders pulling their hair out in frustration over the charges based on the comments by customs broker Steve Wild on Matroni Logistics in Dinnington. The Brexit deal has caused chaos at UK ports and protests over delays and extra costs. Carriers including UK-based DUP and DB Schalke in Germany have halted cross-border deliveries due to the problems. Meanwhile, Brexit stockpiling has led to a lack of empty containers in China and import stocks soaring tenfold from £1,600 to £16,000. It's unbelievable. But once again, that was stockpiling. That was companies preparing for Brexit, and those stockpiles are going to run out in mid-February-ish, depending how much that company stockpiled. Things are about to get a whole lot worse. And that's just the physical trade. And as I've always said, a lot of people have been ignoring the digital side of this. And don't worry, we will cover that. But don't worry, we will cover it. So, the government is urging Sheffield firms to hire specialists to handle international trade. It's a specialist they didn't need to hire before. And, these specialists do not come cheap. They do not come cheap. One of the things I have very seriously considered is looking to get actually retraining in this area. And is it possible to retrain in this area? Because I'll tell you what, all of a sudden, there's a lot of money to be made in this area. And that's me being quite mercenary about it. But, we're going to get paid somewhere, unfortunately. So, the UK government spokesperson said, "We have encouraged companies new to dealing with customs declarations to appoint a specialist to deal with import and export declarations on their behalf. And we have made more than 80 million available to expand the capacity of the customs agents market. Most businesses use a specialist such as a customs broker, freight forwarder, or fast parcel operator to deal with this. The government will continue to work closely with businesses to ensure that they are not only able to adopt the new rules for trade with the EU, but grow their trade with the world's fastest growing markets. Again, doesn't matter if those markets are like halfway around the world or even further. We've talked about this before. Trade gravity is a thing. Countries always trade with their closest neighbours. That is the EU. That ain't going to go away. The spokesperson did not say any advantages of Brexit in response to a direct question from the Star. Not surprising, but I think we will start to see more of this, especially if companies actually start to go seriously to the wire and start to close down. I think you will see an uproar, the likes from British business and industry, the likes of which we probably haven't seen. Well, probably haven't even seen before. I can't think of a time where British business and industry actually spoke out seriously against the government. At least not even since before the 80s. But then again, we'll have to see. New territory for British businesses now actually having to seriously consider making political statements and shouting and making their voices heard, possibly for the first time ever, of just how bad this really is. And Brexit has only just started. Like this is the beginning of Brexit. It's only just started, and we've already got companies saying this is a complete and utter disaster. And where do we go from here? I can't tell you, but I'm pretty sure the direction is downward, unfortunately. And I hope it's not too steep, because the steeper that drop is, the more damage that is done, the more damage that is going to be done to the working class people in this country, and that is just not going to be good for anyone, regardless of whatever your voting inclinations was for Brexit. This just isn't good at all. Full stop. And we are walking into who knows what. Who knows what could happen this year? Politically, economically this year, but it ain't going to be good. I tell you that now. I do worry about closures of businesses throughout Yorkshire and South Yorkshire itself. It's going to be hard times for everyone, not only just in my county, my town, but everyone throughout the UK, because there will be job losses. Not only that, but through COVID-19 as well. This, they've decided to do Brexit at a perfect storm opportunity, when, as a lot of people have said before, Boris Johnson has been making arguments that we could have extended the transferring period for another year to wait until at least COVID had been done with. And that was what a lot of businesses were saying. But, of course, he didn't, and, here we are. And this is what happens when you decide to leave a very, very successful union. No matter what the Brexiteers want to say about the European Union, it was very, very, very successful, both politically and economically. Still is. Hard times ahead, and it's not going to be good. And especially with this government in charge that seem insistent to replay the 80s. And, I wasn't alive in the 80s, but you've only got to hear from a lot of people just how bad the 80s really were, especially in the north. I worry. I really do worry the absolute carnage that Johnson, the cronies, and the Brexiteers have just unleashed on this country. And make no mistake, it is their fault and no one else's. And when I say Brexiteers, I mean people like Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, Nigel Farage, those people who were in power who were advocating hardly for Brexit. Brexiteer supporters, the average people, do not even come or even deserve to be blamed at this point, because you have to know and understand these people were conned, and conned big time. So, as always, thanks for watching. Please do hit that like and share button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link. And thank you very much for all the people who do support me in that way. And of course, we'll see you all next time.